Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. And I got a holiday treat for you. I have a one-man orchestra. My friend Ian Maksin, did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yes. Ian, a pleasure to talk to you. You were born in the former Soviet Union. You came over to the States after discovering you're sort of a musical prodigy. Would that be fair to say? Have,
No, I would say actually, I consider myself a late bloomer in
a
many
late
ways.
bloomer.
So, uh,
Why a late bloomer?
because I still feel that I'm on the way up in my musical career, and I haven't peaked yet. So that's why. I had an early start in classical music, but then sort of halfway through my life, I started everything from scratch, and started looking for my own personal voice, doing a lot of experimenting and discovery, and trying to mix different genres, and that's what I've been doing for the last 15 or so years.
Right. We were talking right before we got started here. You've been in the States for about 33 years.
Right.
You're in Philadelphia now. That's where I'm talking to you from.
Yeah.
And you've developed that own sound. But what made you want to start that unique path for yourself, finding your sound? Because there's plenty of musicians that, become like excellent jazz musicians or blues or rock or what have you. What made you want to go, you know what? Oh, that's great, but I want to do my own thing.
Okay, here we got to get back in time a little bit. So
Sure.
I started playing cello when I was 6, and obviously at that time the only training available was classical. So at school I was getting trained for classical cello, but at the same time at home with my dad we played a lot of rock and roll and all sorts of music. I was exposed to all kinds of music with my dad, with my parents, and I had a rock band, a cover band, writing some of my own songs as well as a teenager, and playing guitar at the same time, playing blues guitar, playing rock guitar, and playing cello on the side as classical, completely not mixing it at the time. And it was not until in my 30s that I realized that life was too short to just spend it playing music that was written by other people, especially classical. In classical music, we would play the same piece over and over again. It's been already recorded by like 100 people before you, and
Sure.
you come up with another recording on the same piece, and people just say, "Nah, you know what? Yo-Yo Ma did it better, better than you." So I felt like I just wanted to crack at something different in life. It's something that's never been done before. So I started experimenting. I started incorporating all of the stuff that I learned playing rock and roll and playing the blues, jazz to a certain extent. I'm not a professional jazz player by any
Mhm.
means. I don't have the training, and that's something I'd love to get into in another life, to become a true jazz musician. But whatever I have, the improvisational skills and the ability to play my instrument and create something on the go. I wanted to incorporate that into my own musical path. So I started mixing rock, folk music from different parts of the world that I've been always fascinated with, and sort of have the cello as the common denominator of all of this, the sound, the tone of the cello, which is quite magical and very transcending. So a few years down the road, I feel like I've got something something different, let's say, different from what other people do, different from other cellists. I don't play covers, like instrumental covers, like let's say like two cellos do, or some other artists. So the instrumental music that I play, it's all original music that I write myself. That's one avenue, and the second avenue, the other avenue is I play the cello and I sing at the same time, and I sing songs in currently 37 languages from different parts of the
How?
world.
How? 37 different languages. I mean, do you know all those languages fluently or just learn how to sing in 37 different
I
languages?
don't. I speak fluently about five or six. But the rest of them, I do learn the phonetics. I learn all the words. I learn the lyrics by heart. I know what every word means. I know what every phrase means. So while you sing in that fashion, you do become, in a way, the carrier of the language,
Sure.
fully understanding and fully being involved in depth through music with that song. So it does. Singing in another language is really, there's nothing else that gets you as close to being the part of that culture.
Is there one that you have connected with more than others that you had no idea, wasn't on your radar when you started this, and now that you're in this and you're 30 plus languages, is there one version, or is there a language that you might not know how to speak it very well in terms of conversation, but when you sing it, it just brings you to a place that's hard to describe?
Turkish, I would say,
Hmm.
Turkey and the Turkish language and the Turkish music has resonated with me very, very deeply. Maybe partially because I do have some Turkic um, background ethnically in me, among many other ones, but this one has resonated very strongly with me. And after having visited different parts of Turkey and familiarizing myself with folk music from different parts of Turkey and learning a few of those songs, I feel like it connects me very deeply and very profoundly to an ancient culture, which Turkey is. I just came actually back from a place called Anatolia, which is a
Hmm.
very incredibly beautiful place, incredibly connected to ancient history. And I just, together with music and the visit, it was just a pretty incredible way to to get in touch with the eternity, with ancient times, with some ancient connection, and it's really unbelievable.
Do you have a certain dream scenario when it comes to venues, because what you do is pretty unique. I've seen a lot of your videos. You're up there by yourself and you do all these sample things where it makes it sound like other bands or other musicians are with you
Yeah.
to create this full orchestra sounding vibe coming from one person. That is, I mean, I could barely, drive, talk, and eat while in the car. That's challenging for me. I can't imagine setting the sample for, drums or all different strings and pulling that all together, and then, oh, by the way, singing in a different language. Your brain just works a little bit differently than mine.
It took some practice. Let me look. It took some practice and persistence, but I had a vision and I wanted to make it happen, and that's why I keep I keep working every single day on getting better at singing, which was not my first instrument. Even though I've been singing all my life, but I've been taking vocal lessons, and I feel like I can still get my chops up even better. And same with cello, I try to make the sound more resonant, more beautiful, and get my electronic skills as well to make it sound as rich as possible. I'm all about the richness of the sound of the cello, adding the bass, as much depth to the sound, that all of these vibrate. It's a pretty amazing vibrational experience coming to a cello orchestra
Hmm. Hmm.
concert. It really, I do believe it has some therapeutical healing properties, both for your physical body and for your soul. And people can attest to that by coming. Many people say that they leave the venue in a different state of mind, some in a sort of catharsis, so to speak. But as far as you mentioned the ideal venue, again, going back to Antalya, I was climbing some beautiful mountains, and there's an ancient parts of ancient civilization, including two ancient Roman amphitheaters
Oh, wow.
there. And in fact, right now on my personal Facebook page is the cover image, and the title to it is I wish I had a concert in a place like this. I wish I could bring like 10,000 people to a venue like this. It would be absolutely a dream concert for me to do it in an ancient amphitheater like that, and it would be something out of this world.
Oh man, I mean, to even describe that sounds wonderful and beautiful. I similar part of the world, kind of. I was in Israel and I got to see like the Sea of Galilee, and you get up to the top there and you look out over this and you just think about
Absolutely,
everything that's happened there, and you just think, wow, like it's almost one of those things that it doesn't seem real when it's happening, right?
absolutely,
You look at your
absolutely.
pictures and after
Yeah,
you leave, and you're like, did that happen? That
yeah,
happened? Yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's kind of what I feel, how I would take what you're saying. You see a place that's so special that you want to share it with everybody, right?
yeah. It's already magical just even being in that
Yeah.
place. And imagine making music, and music, live music is magic. So like all of that combination of all of those factors could create something absolutely unbelievably beautiful and impactful.
You touched on music just changing the way people feel when they go see a show. You've had people tell you about that. I personally feel that way about music. You know, if I don't listen to music for like a day or two, I feel off. I feel something's wrong with me.
Absolutely.
You know, I like music cleanses my different types of music now. Like certain music does certain things, like, I'm from Chicago, and blues, Chicago blues. You put a Howlin' Wolf record on, and it just does something for you, And then you put jazz on or what have you, or rock and roll. I was curious about, you were speaking, you're listening to a lot of music of your dad when you were growing up. What was the rock and roll bands that you were listening to?
Oof. Well, of course, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd,
Mm.
all the classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple,
Oh, Deep Purple. All right.
David Bowie, and then getting into like more progressive stuff, King Crimson, Yes, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, lots of different genres. Jefferson Airplane, um, Manfred Mann, all sorts of things.
So we are at the time of year where people celebrate holidays of whatever they believe. Is there like a type of music that you look forward to this time of year that's not your music, but just music that you want to listen to, or what helps you get into the holiday spirit? Is there anything in particular that pops out at you?
Well, Frank Sinatra, as far as
Oh,
like
old Blue
American
Eyes. Yeah.
music, for me, there's really nothing that Mm, and specifically holiday music. When I think of holiday music, I think of Frank Sinatra, and I've had him on replay for for the last 30 years probably, and even my son, who's 20, who's turning 21 next week, his Sinatra is on his playlist. Independent. It's not like I wasn't even the one who introduced him to Sinatra, but somehow it made it on his playlist.
Well, I imagine that has to do a little bit of maybe dad's influence, just being who you are,
Of
listening to
course.
music, having it play in the house growing up. I hope my kids do the same thing that your son's talking about, where, you want to expose them to all different kinds of music, not just the music
Right.
that they love in that moment, but music from around the world. And, just so they can hear how different people express their passion or their love. And I think that's what
Yeah,
music is
right.
so great about.
Eh,
And you'll be doing that here in Chicago. Again, we are talking about the 20th and 22nd, two different venues. One, I believe, is the Epiphany Center, which is an excellent place to do anything.
Beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, you picked a home
Have
run
you
there,
been
my
there?
friend.
Have you been to
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah. Yes, a few times.
a pretty remarkable story. I met those guys when the place was in completely in shackles,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
And I was like, they're never gonna be able to pull it off. And then 2 years later, the place has it looks so beautiful. The sound equipment is amazing, and the vibe is just crazy good, crazy good.
Right, and it's a bit for people who are not familiar with the Epiphany Center. That is, it's a big room, right? Big, goes way
There's
up
several
high.
venues actually, more than one.
Oh,
There's
sure, yeah,
the
you're
main
right.
large venue, and there's this the smaller what do they call it, the sanctuary, the
Oh, the
sanctuary.
sanctuary. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then you will be before that. You're going to be in Wooddale at the some an art gallery, I believe. I'm trying to read it.
It's called the Art Gallery Cafe, but it's
Oh,
mainly a music club, a music venue. It's actually a very beautiful club owned by a Polish family.
ah,
They've
my people.
They've had, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So beautiful sound, beautiful vibe, some great drinks and desserts. They don't have a menu, but they have some really nice Polish desserts there. And I've been playing there. It's been my suburban Chicago base for the last few years. I've been putting their shows at least two, three times a year, and I just love going back there. And it's always a great crowd. It's always a lot of fun. So I'm very much looking forward to going back there.
and on this.
Wooddale, just by the airport, just under one of the runways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And for folks who've never been, what do they? And we talked a little bit about this, but for this particular show that you're doing for the winter here and all the shows going on throughout the country that you have, I see that you're hitting Key West in January. Smart move in
Yeah.
January in Key West, by the way.
Yeah.
But what are they in for when they come see you perform coming up here?
Well, I would say it's 50-50 my original music that is inspired by my travels. It has influences of folk music from Northern Africa, from the Middle East, from Central Asia, places like Mongolia, from even Spain. Like there's little bits of flamenco Arab
Oh, okay.
in Arabic flamenco, and all of it is kind of mixed up with a lot of musical genealogy, kind of mixed together, like how Spanish music is mixed with Arabic, Arabic music is mixed with Middle Eastern music is mixed with Balkan via, Byzantine Empire history. It's all of it is very, very, and then Mongolian and Central Asian music is very connected with Turkish music as well. Historically, it's all extremely interrelated. So that music that I write, it has a lot of elements of all of the above, and it sort of resonates with. Um, you don't you can don't have to like any specific kind of music. You don't have to you don't have to belong to a certain ethnic background in order to enjoy it. It deeply somehow has this deep resonance, and some, as I said, some sort of healing properties. It's almost like puts you into a state of trance, like folk music in many parts of the world. It's music and spirituality are very connected, like in Africa, in Central Asia, and music helps you get into that altered state
Hmm.
without use of any drugs or anything, and that's where healing occurs. Both physically, you become healed physically and mentally, spiritually as well. So this is what this music is after, and also I sort of intermix it with songs. From my collection of 37 languages, so it could be songs. So I have some really old songs. I have ancient Mongolian songs from 700-800 years ago, possibly even older. I have songs from Georgia, not Georgia next to Florida, but Georgia in the Caucasus Mountain Range, a beautiful ancient country that's been there for several thousand years. People have been speaking nearly the same language and passing on their music from generation to generation. And I have a couple of those songs that I love sharing with people in different parts of the world. And those songs resonate with people in Spain, Turkey, South America, Canada, all alike. That's how beautiful this music is, and that's how magical it is.
Oh man, sign me up. That's exactly
Yeah,
what people
absolutely.
need this.
Come, you're definitely welcome to come to either one of the shows that's closer to you. I'll get you guys tickets.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I was reading a little bit more about you, and I saw you've been to over 100 cities in 4 continents. I mean, I imagine that's where you
That's in
get
the
all
last
the.
few months, in the last 6 months or so.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! I mean, is there a spot? I know you talked about Turkey, as far as what pulls you, but I mean, is there any other surprises? I mean, you've journeyed around the globe. Is there anything else that pops out at you that you like to share with
Well,
people in your shows?
I just came less than 24 hours ago. I just came from Barcelona. That was my last destination. Valencia, Spain, and Barcelona.
Okay.
Part of Spain is called Catalonia. And it's just Barcelona, I would say, is an absolutely unique place, unique sensory experience in many ways, in what you see, in what you smell, in what you feel, in what you eat, everything together. It was just an, something completely new to me. Even just looking at the skyline and the sky, and you think like all of this was put together so that all these colors match the color of the sky. That's what
Hmm.
came to my mind, and it's just so inspiring. I'm sure that it's going to take me a while to digest
I bet.
that beauty, that eclectic beauty. There's so much there, starting with medieval part of town, Gothic part of town, neoclassical part of town, and of course the architecture of Gaudi. That's like the centerpiece of modern Barcelona. It's all of it is just something that's absolutely unique.
That was my trip before the pandemic took it away. I was set to go to Barcelona, Milan for a little European adventure. So hearing you talk about it like the way you're talking about it, it's almost like I was there just in your description of it, just picturing the buildings, touching the sky and blending together. Gives me renewed hope to get back over there. And I thank you for that story. And thank
Absolutely.
you.
I hope you get back. By the way, there's American has nonstops from Chicago to Barcelona, and it's a really nice flight, and I really hope you get to go really soon.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I wish you luck on your travels here that you have coming up. You're going on a little mini winter tour, which is brave soul. Be doing that in the midwestern area of the country and eastern, with the snow and whatnot. But I imagine
Yeah,
you get to see this country in a different way. Snowfall over a city always makes a
I've
city look
seen it
beautiful.
in every possible way. And after driving uh, in January, or no, it was in March, but it was just as bad. After driving through Minnesota,
Oh
North
yeah.
Dakota, and Saskatchewan in wintry weather, nothing else really compares to that. So everything else is a piece of cake after that.
Yeah. And where can people find out information about the shows, to buy tickets, for your music, and all that fun stuff?
Best way is to just Google up my name. Most importantly, spell it right. Ianmaksin, and that'll take you to my official website. And on my official website, there's buttons for everything. There's a button that says Tour Concert Tour. Click on it, and all of the tour dates are right there at the palm of your hand. Bam. If you want to join me on social media, also there's buttons for that. It says join in on Instagram or Facebook. And Instagram or Facebook is a great way to stay in touch because I constantly post things. I don't have a blog on my website, but I try to post as much as I can on my social media as far as my travels are concerned, post stories from inspiring places. I post live concerts actually when I can. I know a lot of people ask for it, and I do it. And so I would say probably 9 out of 10 concerts are streamed live
Oh, very cool.
on either Facebook or Instagram. I alternate sometimes, and all of those things are available for several years down. And all of the stuff that's coming up, with rare exceptions, where, for example, in Barcelona, I just couldn't get decent internet, so that concert was not streamed, unfortunately. But I make every effort to have all these concerts streamed live.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing your time today. And best of luck on the travels. And such a great pleasure to get to know you here in these last few minutes.
Likewise, thank you so much, and